In today's video, I'm going to be turning kids' cartoons into horror. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and one more thing to mention. I recently dropped my own clothing brand that I designed. It's called Pure Intent. I'm going to leave a link down in the bio with a promo code, Lucas Creations, for 10% off at checkout. Go check it out. Without further ado, let's get into it. First off, I found this picture of SpongeBob screaming, and I thought this would be the perfect segue into my next idea. So without further ado, I cut this out with the pen tool. Then once I had it cut out, I just cleaned up some of the rough edges with the eraser tool. Once I finished cleaning it all up, I zoomed out and just found a good spot. I was going to tuck it in the corner anyways, and that's why I cut the rest of his legs off. Then I used a picture I found online of the hash-slinging slasher, and that was going to be the main villain of the design that I was using. So he was already cut out, so I just enlarged him just to see what he looked like. Tried to find a quick spot, but I moved him anyways later. Here is where the design gets really interesting. I found this picture of Squidward laying in a pool of water, and I decided that I was going to cut out the entire pool of water with Squidward in it and then transform it into looking like a pool of blood. So I'm just taking the pen tool, cutting it out right now, and I will show you guys when I start making it into a pool of blood. So I took the paintbrush tool, chose a nice red that I liked, a deep red, and colored in the entire pool and made it look like it was a big pool of blood. The next step that I did, I came up with this really good idea of cutting half the head out so I could make it look like his brain was showing. So here's me just drawing in a circle with the pen tool, making a selection and cutting out exactly what I wanted. Next, I found a brain that I thought would fit the photo. I shrunk it down to a good size, fit it in, made sure the layer was below the Squidward layer so that it would kind of hide behind that, and found a good spot for it. I just popped into the filter tool real quick, picked the camera raw feature and lowered the exposure. I had to zoom out to see the brain, lowered the exposure of the brain to make it look like the brain was darker and maybe kind of like a dead look. Next, I grabbed my paintbrush and my red again, lowered the size quite a bit, and then drew in some crazy lines on the eyes to make them look like they were really bloodshot. And I think this just adds like a really eerie, creepy effect, especially to the image. It's the small details that really matter here. Next, if you guys watched my last video about making the Clash Royale icon horror, I downloaded these blood splatter paintbrushes, and I'm gonna grab these and use them for the same thing, where I'm just gonna cover Squidward in some of the blood splatters. It just adds a lot of depth to the actual graphic of it. So here I am just adding in some splatters, grabbing a different one and sizing it down, and just keep on adding it. Should have done this as the first step, but I needed to grab a background, and I found this nice picture of the Krusty Krab, made sure to put everything below it, and now I have to move everything to fit in the background again, which is kind of a pain in the butt, but we figured it out. Then, just as I did with the brain, once I found where I wanted everything to go, I went into the camera raw filter, lowered the exposure, darkened the blacks, and darkened the whites a little bit, and then I also added a little bit of saturation and some texture, just because it's the little things that count, like I said. And I did the same thing to the SpongeBob layer, just darkened up the exposure a little bit, had to zoom out to make sure I could see it, and yeah. So here is my final product. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and remember to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and check in the description for my clothing brand. Go and check it out. And if you guys wanted to buy anything, you get 10% off with the code Lucas Creations. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.